What's up, cool people? Welcome to today's live stream. My name is Matt, aka That Random Christian Gamer. And this marks the first in our new kind of split stream format, you might say. But in any case, it's the first in what I think I will continue calling Bible study and side questing. Or I might shorten that to just study and side questing, but if I say it like that, it sounds like it could mean other studying that's not Bible related. Anyway, hi Seth, hope you're doing well. Before we hop in, quick thanks to Pole Claws on Twitch for following between streams. So, today is gonna run a little bit like my Friday streams did before this week. We're kicking it off with some Bible study, obviously. Looking at a couple of chapters in Chronicles as we continue our way through the Bible. And after that, though, will not be specific, like, game progress kind of stuff. It's just going to be hanging around, maybe side questing some weeks. It's debatable that I'm actually side questing in any way today. But that's really just to leave some time after the Bible study for open discussion, like whatever you want to talk about. But I'll be playing games sort of as the backdrop, might spark some ideas and or like fill the time when the conversation isn't so active. I'm leaning towards doing some Gems of War after the Bible study today. But let me not say too much about that, and, you know, in case A, I change my mind, and or B, I mean, I'll probably end up kind of explaining why once I get into it. So, anyway, looks like ads are going to start in a couple of minutes on Twitch if I don't run them myself. I think I will just head that off and get things rolling here. So, Twitch folks, I'll see you in a bit. There we go. I'm like, once the ads roll. Okay. Let's get this scene ready here. So, yeah, also, I probably should have mentioned before the ads, today's stream is going to have to be a bit shorter than normal, because, I've had a bit of a crazy week at work, and there's some things that I would like to / eventually need to do that I figure I'll just go in for a couple of hours tomorrow, get some of that stuff done that I've been putting on the back burner, and maybe some more on top of that. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah. So because of going into work tomorrow when I normally would not, I'm shortening the live stream tonight. But yeah, feel free to chat, ask me whatever, even while we're doing the Bible study. Just know that for that part of things, I will be recording. I might take a bit to get back to whatever, to answer whatever comment or question you leave. So, looks like the ads should be done. I did not bother to look at how long these chapters are gonna be, but I'm figuring that, yeah, that part shouldn't take more than an hour, if it even takes that long, and I'll probably hang out for about another hour after that, but when I would normally extend it out to closer to 3 hours, I'm probably going to have to make it more like 2 tonight. So, without delaying things any further, let's hop into some Bible study here. Alright, so we are looking at 2 Chronicles chapter 13 right now, and so for context, this is sort of a recap per a guy named Ezra, meant originally at least for the Israelite exiles. Second bit of context within that recap, we're at the point where Israel and Judah have split, and it has already mentioned what Rehoboam did during his time as king of Judah, with maybe not quite as much detail on some things as we got back in 1 Kings, but again, it's sort of a recap, so that's not too surprising. Anyway, that's kind of where we're picking things up. So let's see what we have here in 2 Chronicles chapter 13. Abijah began to rule over Judah in the 18th year of Jeroboam's reign in Israel. He reigned in Jerusalem 3 years. His mother was Maacah, the daughter of Uriel from Gibeah. Then war broke out between Abijah and Jeroboam. Judah, led by King Abijah, fielded 400,000 select warriors, while Jeroboam mustered 800,000 select troops from Israel. Okay, so it did mention there being some fighting between Rehoboam and Jeroboam, so it's not like this is necessarily the first bit of fighting that they did. Although the fighting was delayed a bit after the initial split, Rehoboam wanted to go and try to regain control over the other tribes of Israel. But God specifically told him, no, don't fight them. I have said that this would happen, and I've made it happen. So don't do that. So at least for a few years, that didn't happen. But now they're fighting. And that's going to be one of the big things that really weakens both of them and leads to their eventual demise. But let me not get too far ahead of myself within the recap. So this guy Abijah is the son of Rehoboam, so that's just typical kingly succession there. And now it says his reign was only 3 years, so I'm guessing we're not going to get a ton of reading out of what he did. But still, very notable battle here. We got 400,000 warriors from Judah, 800,000 from the other tribes of Israel. And especially keeping in mind, like somebody mentioned in last Friday's Bible study, that the population overall was a lot smaller back in those days. So having that many people fighting in one war was kind of massive. Anyway, so mentions Abijah's mother being Maacah. That comes from most Greek manuscripts in Syriac. Hebrew reads Micaiah, which is a variant spelling. I mean, in a way, if you don't really know Hebrew, you kind of have to take it on faith that, yeah, okay, it's variant spelling means same person, just different way of saying that name. Well, I mean, I guess that's true whether or not you know Hebrew. If you know Hebrew, you might know a little bit more about why that would be the case. And or the meaning behind someone's name. But, yeah, so, fight breaks out, or war breaks out, between Israel and Judah. And, then we get to verse 4. When the army of Judah arrived in the hill country of Ephraim, Abiah stood on Mount Zemaraim and shouted to Jeroboam and all Israel, "Listen to me. Don't you realize that the Lord, the God of Israel, made a lasting covenant with David, giving him and his descendants the throne of Israel forever? Yet Jeroboam, son of Nebat, a mere servant of David's son Solomon, rebelled against his master. Then a whole gang of scoundrels joined him, defying Solomon's son Rehoboam when he was young and inexperienced and could not stand up to them. Do you really think you can stand against the kingdom of the Lord that is led by the descendants of David? You may have a vast army, and you have those gold calves that Jeroboam made as your gods. But you have chased away the priests of the Lord, the descendants of Aaron, and the Levites, and you have appointed your own priests, just like the pagan nations. You let anyone become a priest these days. Whoever comes to be dedicated with a young bull and 7 rams can become a priest of these so-called gods of yours. But as for us, the Lord is our God, and we have not abandoned him. Only the descendants of Aaron serve the Lord as priests, and the Levites alone may help them in their work. They present burnt offerings and fragrant incense to the Lord every morning and evening. They place the bread of the presence on the holy table, and they light the gold lampstand every evening. We are following the instructions of the Lord our God, but you have abandoned him. So you see, God is with us. He is our leader. His priests blow their trumpets and lead us into battle against you. O people of Israel, do not fight against the Lord, the God of your ancestors, for you will not succeed." Okay, pausing there. He sure does sound confident when just last chapter it was noted how his father turned away from the Lord. Granted, he did have a change of heart after being attacked and realizing that that was why he was being attacked. But overall, it even describes Rehoboam as being, quote, evil because he didn't really continue to follow the Lord. Right here, chapter 12, verse 14. He was an evil king, for he did not seek the Lord with all his heart. Hopefully, Abiah was raised a bit better than that. Well, whether or not he was raised that way, hopefully he followed the Lord a bit better than that. But it's a bit surprising considering what it notes about Rehoboam right near the end of recapping his time as king. So, yeah, in any case, the armies kind of draw up their battle lines, and Abiah is basically saying to, the opposing army of Israel, do you really want to fight against the Lord our God, who really should be your God too? I mean, any of them who knew much of the history of their people should have had some sort of idea that whenever their ancestors abandoned the Lord or went against him in any particular way, things went poorly. But I don't know if Abiah here is just saying all this as a threat to try and, persuade them or convince them that they won't succeed. Or, like, if, he's actually, like, being honest about his own dedication to the Lord. It did specifically note a few chapters ago that the priests and the Levites left the newly split northern kingdom of Israel and went to Judah because Jeroboam and the rest of Israel were not letting them, worship and serve the Lord their God. But Judah still did, so they went to Judah instead, where they could actually fulfill the duties that they expected and maybe even wanted to. So, yeah, in any case, knowing the history of these people, this should actually be a relatively convincing argument. But before I move on to what else happens, let me... So the Hebrew there at Lasting Covenant could say a covenant of salt. I imagine there's some symbolism in that, but I'm not going to, speculate. I will assume the translators knew pretty well what they were doing with that, and worded it in a way that captured the intent of that phrase. So, oh yeah, also, not only does Abia call out their lack of following God, but he actually kind of starts it off with saying, Jeroboam and a bunch of you took advantage of a situation and tried to rebel when it was easier for you to do so. Almost saying that, maybe their kingdom isn't as strong as their numbers would make it out to be. So, anyway. And then he talks about how, Judah and their priests follow the Lord and things that they do to that effect. As... more convincing that the opposing army won't succeed. But then we get to verse 13. Meanwhile, Jeroboam had secretly sent part of his army around behind the men of Judah to ambush them. When Judah realized that they were being attacked from the front and the rear, they cried out to the Lord for help. Then the priests blew the trumpets, and the men of Judah began to shout. At the sound of their battle cry, God defeated Jeroboam and all Israel and routed them before Abia and the army of Judah. The Israelite army fled from Judah, and God handed them over to Judah in defeat. Abia and his army inflicted heavy losses on them. 500,000 of Israel's select troops were killed that day. So Judah defeated Israel on that occasion because they trusted in the Lord, the God of their ancestors. Abia and his army pursued Jeroboam's troops and captured some of his towns, including Bethel, Jeshana, and Ephron, along with their surrounding villages. So Jeroboam of Israel never regained his power during Abia's lifetime, and finally the Lord struck him down and he died. Meanwhile, Abia of Judah grew more and more powerful. He married 14 wives and had 22 sons and 16 daughters. The rest of the events of Abia's reign, including his words and deeds, are recorded in the commentary of Iddo the prophet, which is definitely not something that is typically included along with the Bible. I don't even know for sure if we have that ancient record. But, turns out Abia and Judah's army are very successful. They managed to slay over half of the opposing army, 500,000 select troops out of the 800,000 that were there. And it doesn't really mention any notable losses on Judah's side. So, yeah. God clearly was with them and not with the opposing army of Israel. And the way it recaps things at the end here regarding Jeroboam, for a second I was like, okay, never regained his power during Abiah's lifetime, but for just half a second there, it's like, okay, but after Abiah died, did Jeroboam, regain some of his power? But then the second half of that sentence implies that he died either before Abiah or shortly thereafter, before he could gain any significant power, at least. But then it makes you wonder why Abiah's reign was only 3 years long. Like, why did he die or get deposed or whatever? But we don't really get that, so that's, I guess, gonna do it for 2 Chronicles 13. Because, yeah, I don't really have any particular other thoughts to add to that. So, on to the next chapter. After I get a sip of water here. Okay. Here we go. Okay, 2 Chronicles chapter 14. So last chapter described at least one major event in the reign of King Abiah of Judah, who was Rehoboam's son, and that's really only like 2 generations removed from Solomon then. But they mentioned a big battle between Judah and Israel. Judah was victorious because they followed the Lord, and not only followed but trusted in the Lord. Meanwhile, the opposing army of Israel did not, so they were routed, as I believe. I think that was one of the words that it used. But yeah, God's people split into 2 different kingdoms, and they are clearly at odds with each other. But I guess we'll get what happened after Abiah's death in this chapter. So, here we go. 2 Chronicles chapter 14. There's actually a note here at the top. Verse 14:1 is numbered 1323 in the Hebrew text. The ancient manuscripts that they do the translating from. I'll go ahead and read this paragraph and then make my own conclusion if it fits better here or would have been better at the end of the previous chapter. But it doesn't really matter too much what I think about that. Anywho. Okay. When Abiah died, he was buried in the city of David. Then his son Asa became the next king. There was peace in the land for 10 years. Asa did what was pleasing and good in the sight of the Lord his God. He removed the foreign altars and the pagan shrines. He smashed the sacred pillars and cut down the Asherah poles. He commanded the people of Judah to seek the Lord, the God of their ancestors, and to obey his law and his commands. Asa also removed the pagan shrines as well as the incense altars from every one of Judah's towns. So Asa's kingdom enjoyed a period of peace. During those peaceful years, he was able to build up the fortified towns throughout Judah. No one tried to make war against him at this time, for the Lord was giving him rest from his enemies. Pausing there. Okay, so definitely a good start for the next king after Abia. Okay, so Asa is his son. So we're now 3 generations from Solomon. Now, I don't know if it's focusing on Judah because this is, or was originally intended for the Israelites who were exiled by Babylon, or if it's just that's kind of how the sequence of events is flowing. It did mention Jeroboam's death at the end of the previous chapter as well, but I'm not sure if he died before Abia or maybe a little bit after. In any case, so honestly, verse 1 here could be in either this chapter or the one before, and it would make some sense to me. Yeah, the second note there is just mentioning that what we see as verse 2 here is verse 1 in the Hebrew, and just kind of getting the other end of the first note that we saw there. But King Asa is doing good things. Getting rid of most, if not all, of the shrines, altars, and other things dedicated to other gods besides the Lord. So, I guess partially or even mostly because of that, things were peaceful for a while. Perhaps, the defeat of Israel in the previous chapter had something to do with that too. And then because of things being peaceful, he's able to kind of, make their defenses stronger and prepare better for whenever the next war breaks out. So, then we have verse 7. Asa told the people of Judah, "Let us build towns and fortify them with walls, towers, gates, and bars. The land is still ours because we sought the Lord our God, and he has given us peace on every side." So they went ahead with these projects and brought them to completion. King Asa had an army of 300,000 warriors from the tribe of Judah, armed with large shields and spears. He also had an army of 280,000 warriors from the tribe of Benjamin, armed with small shields and bows. Both armies were composed of well-trained fighting men. So, that combined army is even bigger than the one his father brought out to fight against the opposing army of Israel. Because that was 400,000. This in total between Judah and Benjamin is 580,000 warriors. And I guess, the ones with the large shields and spears were kind of more the frontliners. And then the smaller shields and bows, especially being bows, were, more your rangers hung around in the back. And honestly, pretty decent battle formation going on there. interesting that it split in such a way that it's like the one tribe had this type of warrior and the other tribe had a different type that just so happened to work well together. Alright, on to verse 9. Once an Ethiopian named Zerah attacked Judah with an army of 1,000,000 men and 300 chariots. That seems like a very low ratio of chariots to men. Anyway, they advanced to the town of Marishah. So Asa deployed his armies for battle in the valley north of Marishah. Then Asa cried out to the Lord his God, "O Lord, no one but you can help the powerless against the mighty. Help us, O Lord our God, for we trust in you alone. It is in your name that we have come against this vast horde. O Lord, you are our God. Do not let mere men prevail against you." So the Lord defeated the Ethiopians in the presence of Asa and the army of Judah, and the enemy fled. Asa and his army pursued them as far as Gerar, and so many Ethiopians fell that day. It fell that they were unable to rally. Okay, so many of them fell that they were unable to rally. Gotcha. They were destroyed by the Lord and his army, and the army of Judah carried off a vast amount of plunder. While they were at Gerar, they attacked all the towns in that area, and terror from the Lord came upon the people there. As a result, a vast amount of plunder was taken from these towns too. They also attacked the camps of herdsmen and captured many sheep, goats, and camels before finally returning to Jerusalem. So, all this time working on the defenses paid off because they get attacked by an army that is not quite double in size. At least if this is accurate. The only reason I question that is because of the note there. Or an army of thousands and thousands. Hebrew reads an army of 1,000 thousands, which would indeed be 1,000,000. So maybe that's why they went with 1,000,000 there. But it could have been even more, the way that the first part of that note is worded. But, yeah, so, again, there's almost a parallel there with the difference, or the ratio of army sizes, with this battle here, compared to the battle of Judah and Israel in the previous chapter. And wouldn't you know it, the victory is similarly great for Judah. But, like, notice, yeah, Asa deployed his armies, but, like, before too much has happened, I would think, he cries out to the Lord, his God. So, like, he is seeking the Lord in these things, specifically. Whereas, it doesn't really mention that for, say, Rehoboam, when he, got attacked by King Shishak of Egypt a few chapters ago. So once again, following and seeking after God is a crucial point in the success of Judah. And not only do they push the opposing army back, but they then even, like, gain some more territory and wealth from that. All right. Time to read through the notes here that I didn't already look at. Instead of Ethiopian, the Hebrew says a Cushite. I think that's just what that area was known as back then. Like, what is now Ethiopia was probably known as Kush back in those times. And deployed his armies in the... note there, the valley north of Marishah. That comes from the Greek version. Hebrew reads, Valley of Zephathah. Yeah, near Marishah. I mean, it was still near Marishah either way. It's just saying the Valley of Zephathah doesn't specifically give any direction in relation to that. But that might have been where Zephathah was. Also, as I'm passing by it, noting what Asa says in his prayer of a sort to the Lord, basically being like, look, we trust that you can handle this. Really, you're the only one who can. And so we pray for your aid in this. And right at the end, do not let mere men prevail against you. It's like, all right, we're kind of asking for your help, not just for our sake, but for yours. Because if these people defeat us, who worship you, it makes you, our God, look bad. Anyway, so the Lord defeated the Ethiopians. That says Cushites in the Hebrew. Also in verse 13. And, okay. Sorry. So that takes care of all the notes there. So, yeah, I guess... Well, it says they attacked towns near Gerar. I don't know if it says they took over those towns, per se. But it does say they took a lot of plunder. And some, just animals, we'll say. I was going to say flocks, but then I read camels. I don't know if a group of camels is really considered a flock. Some livestock, we'll say. I don't know. So, yeah. I don't really have too many other thoughts on this. It's another victory for Judah because they followed and sought the Lord. Different king, different time, different army they're fighting against, but similar result. Okay. And it has only been about 40 minutes. Jeez. So it might end up being a little more than an hour that I'm hanging around playing a game, but I see no need to get into any more chapters of Bible study. A, because I'm trying to keep the stream on the shorter side, and B, because I don't want to mess up where I'm at in, like, the sequence of things, and, you know, try not to have a whole book transition during the same stream. Okay. Normally, this is when I would run an ad break as I transition things, but I don't know if I really need to, in this case, since this is just kind of a chill type of situation. So yeah, there's a particular thing, like a certain daily event in Gems of War that I kind of want to do. So I figure since I'm going to play some of that anyway, I might as well just make that the rest of the stream. Just speaking of that, updating some stream information. Okay. And whoop. Shouldn't take too long to load up, hopefully. So. It's not like the thing that I want to do is going to be anything new. It's just that there was an event specifically for today, and if I don't do it during the live stream, I'm like gonna keep myself up doing it later, which I don't really want to do. Okay. Well, good. Glad you enjoy the Bible study early on there, Seth. So, honestly, this class trial here is the thing that I want to do. And really that's only because I have not gotten this class fully leveled. Otherwise, I just ignore these class trials. So the way these work is it limits the troops you can use to the kingdom and type that correspond to the class that gets leveled up from this, I guess you'd say. You level up the classes anyway when you use them in battle, but this specifically gives like extra class experience. So the kind of team I've been fielding, not really feeling random troop choice so much for this. I mean, it's pretty limited anyway. There's only what? 1, 2, 3, 4. So 8, 12. There's only 14 options to choose from. So, you know, actually seeing that almost makes me slightly more inclined to do it random. Tell you what, I'll fill in the team that I would if we weren't doing it randomly, and then... no, because I don't want to... I don't want to have to deal with, like, replacing and rearranging and all that. I mean, I could definitely battle more than once with each. But let's maybe start with the random team for at least a couple of battles. And then I'll do the team that I would normally do without any randomization. Because then, honestly, I'll probably just stick with that one. The battles do also get slightly more difficult as you progress, I think. But yeah, so you earn points from these battles, and then those give you rewards over here, which can give you, again, class-specific experience. Anywho. Yeah, I just don't want to be going back and forth between the teams a ton. So, all right. I guess I can still start with the team that I was thinking of using. And then we'll randomize a bit later. See, now, I feel like this should also be limited to the same kingdom. I went too far down the kingdom list. This one. Now, what I would normally pick is... There's typically a weapon that explodes gems based on troops from that kingdom. Okay. You see, now that operates under an assumption that any of these troops on my team are going to be bad. This is meant to be a very synergistic kind of team. Literally all of these ones that I have chosen convert gems of a certain color to doom skulls, so it's basically meant to give me a bunch of ways to add attacking into there, which really about the only way that could be thwarted would, well, A, be freezing, or B, entangled, which kind of takes away their attack power. Looking at the colors now to see which banner I want to pick. So we got blue, yellow, brown, red, green, no purple. So any of these that have a minus purple and... Okay, so I'll say that for now, but ideally a double blue with a minus purple. Did that one? No. Okay. Did that? Nope. Okay. I'm like... Sometimes it's like I think I see a minus purple afterwards when I actually don't. Okay, there it is. Okay, there is no double blue minus purple, so I'll stick with this banner. And of course, the class I use will be Slayer. Because A, that just wouldn't feel right, and B, it now gels with the whole team. And they all get extra stat boosts because of being the same type and kingdom. Okay. Oh yeah, now having the weapon out in front that explodes the gems is pretty much just to give the others the mana that they need a bit quicker. Mana surge. But honestly, these early battles are going to be pretty easy. In fact, most of these, compared to what I'm used to, are going to be easy. Yeah, so like, this one converts green gems to doom skulls. This one converts blue gems to doom skulls. This one converts yellow to doom skulls. Plus, they each deal some other kind of damage on top of that. I've been using pretty much this exact team in another event or two this week. Now, I do tend to kind of wait for things to line up. I mean, ideally so that it results in an extra turn when I change the gems, but at the very least, I want to make sure I'm getting an attack out of the gem conversions, kind of like this. Are we doing the... After this, we'll probably just hang around in the Underspire, yeah. But I will be getting extra sigils for this event as I go along. And defeat any Valravens that I encounter. Yeah, I forget if the Underspire had the same restrictions as this, or maybe slightly different ones. Yeah, so, tell you what, I'll do at least one set of the 5 battles here before we attempt to maybe randomize the team in any way. If we're going to do that at all. While I'm doing this, oh man, my work days lately have just been essentially just one curveball after another. Although the main thing has been, you know, parts that I'm trying to get together just running out all over the place. And of course, the things that they build where I work can't be put together if we don't have the parts. The good news is, most of the stuff that I put together, I'm working a little bit ahead on. The bad news is, we've been out of some of these parts for so long that it has now become the time when those are supposed to be worked on. Yeah, so after every 5 battles, you get the extra reward for the round here. Hey, Slayer champion leveled up. Alright. So what do you think? Should we just throw a random team together here? I do notice the crown thing is going up. I don't know if that's supposed to be like the level of the opposing troops or what exactly that means. But it definitely means it's getting more difficult. Oh yeah, and I guess there's also like a leaderboard for these kinds of events. You know, the battles have points that correspond to them, which relate to your placement on the leaderboard, I guess. I don't really care too much about that. Alrighty. Okay, hang on. 14, 3, 7, 13, 10. I think that's one number too many. I can only have 4 troops. Might even be 2 numbers too many if I want a weapon involved. It is, right? Okay. Mind telling me what that all means then, Seth? No, it's 3 plus the weapon. The weapon is one of the 4. Also, how are we organizing... Like, should I just go with the default sort, where it's by the name? I guess we might as well. Yes, I get that. I was just, like, as far as this sorting... For my own sake, when I'm putting my teams together, I usually sort them by base rarity, because the ones I'm looking for tend to be higher rarity, so I have to spend less time looking for them. I guess we'll go with the default sort. Okay, so... 14 is the last troop listed here. I guess I'll put that in this spot for the moment. Number 3. Number 7. Bit of mana overlap there. Not the best, but whatever. I am going to limit this to the kingdom. That's part of this event. And then 13. So 4, 8, 12, 13. I mean, at least it still explodes the gems. It's just... This has nothing to do with construct allies. Now, if we wanted, we could also use your 5th number there as the banner that I use. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh yeah, great choice of banner. Reduces green, when green is the most used color of the team. Clearly this is going to be better than the team I put together. Now I do think I might like to rearrange the troops, if that's alright. Might need some edits later. I mean, I still don't expect to lose any of these battles exactly. You know what? Actually, I might keep this order as it is. Since, there's still kind of some skull-related stuff going on here. Okay. So here's our team for round 2. Maybe in the next set of 5. I know I said I didn't want to randomize too much, but I figure if we don't make any changes as we're going, it'll be after this set of 5. And doggone it, I was not paying attention right there. 51, eliminate 5 attack. Well, meh. At least Gemhammer here gets off to a fast start. Actually, I really should look at the enemy troops a little bit to see if their levels are related to the, like, kind of crown thing that it showed. So far, I'm thinking maybe. Okay, definitely get rid of the Valraven. I want no chance of that thing escaping. Sure, I'll match yellow. There's really only 4 colors that do me any good. Create 6 skulls. Boosted by all undead and demons. Okay. Either banner, weapon, or support. I'm gathering that whatever I choose would still be randomized. Through randomness, yeah. Tell you what, I think I'd actually like to edit the banner first. By the way, there's actually going to be quite a few choices there. Okay, I mean, there's definitely more than 7. Holy crap, are there really 85 banners? Anyway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. At least it's not, like, a negative for this team. Alright, banner has been altered. Alright. Every 2 battles. Every 2 battles we can edit something. Oh, okay. That's just what it happened to get this time. Because it went like that twice in a row, that's why I thought it was just going to be every other battle. That guy can be annoying. Oh, he didn't die. Man, sorry about all the yawning. Although I will say, been up 15 and a half hours now. Okay, so it has been another 2 battles. Let's see. I believe I would like to swap out one of the supporting troops. Although ads are starting soon on Twitch, so that might be on hold for a bit. Now, I'm like, are we going to randomize which one it replaces? No? Okay. So I get to choose that. In that case... Oh, geez. If I'm going to use this guy, I might want to level him up. Okay. Recruit. I will replace that one so there's not as much mana overlap. Okay. Yep. Ads are rolling. Gonna just get up and move around a little bit. Take a slight break from the game. Okay. I know there wasn't a stretch redemption exactly, but I just feel like moving around some, you know? Okay. Yep. All right. So we have our edit. What does this guy do? Inflict terror on a random enemy for each red ally. Well, that doesn't really do much either. Honestly, that's probably the troop I'll end up replacing at the next edit. Valraven be gone. Oh yeah, and it does indeed appear that the levels of the troops correspond to the crown things. It's gonna be a while before the next edit, eh? What, did you roll a 6? Yeah, 5, okay. Well, there is one. Yeah, so back to, you know, work stuff for a moment. Not only are we, you know, missing parts for things, but right in the middle of these kind of issues, some of which, by the way, are happening because we're, like, kind of changing some things with our suppliers. Even straight up changing suppliers in some cases. So in the middle of that, the person who managed the ordering left. So we had to have a different person take over ordering parts. Meanwhile, we got some of the parts that are coming in. Like, I got one spool of wire that came in today that was mislabeled. So we're still having some of the more regular issues on top of that kind of stuff. Not saying that that specific thing happens a lot, but like, sometimes we'll just have problems with our inventory because, like, we, you know, going by the way things normally run, it's like, we think we're getting one thing, but we don't, or it's just all sorts of other errors on top of flat out lacking certain parts. So, yeah, it's fun times at work lately. And meanwhile, there's other stuff I've been putting on the back burner because of still trying to get some things prepped in the midst of all this. That's mostly what I'm going to work on tomorrow, is the stuff that I had on the back burner. We got, like, old, obsolete parts that we don't even use anymore that now we're trying to get rid of. Clear up a little space that way. And then, like, rearrange some of the other stuff that's still there to then try and free up more space and or utilize it better. And of course, like, the push for that had to happen at the same time that we're having all these issues with getting parts in, and it's, man. There were so many things that I was a part of today that aren't, like, what would really be considered my primary responsibilities, that it was just like, I don't know. For a little while at least, I felt kind of like a chicken with its head cut off. Just going all around the place, trying to take care of stuff. I tried to say decapitated, but it got kind of tripped up with my words there a little. So yeah, needless to say, with all the hecticness, for lack of a better word, you know, adding on to my early days and my early starts, I think it's understandable. I'm a little bit tired at the moment. I'm not, like, so tired that I want to fall asleep right now, but it might be getting there. Okay, and that was 5 battles. So, let us swap out another troop, shall we? And I'm pretty sure I already know which one I'm replacing, because I don't really like this Lost Warrior troop. So, number 9 would be this. Griff Stonefeather. Destroy a column, deal 44 splash damage to a random enemy, boosted by blue gems destroyed. Okay, that's not terrible. The only issue is it doubles up on mana with the Slayer Ghost. Oh well. In fact, maybe I should swap their order.
Mana surge.
Meanwhile, I should definitely make an effort to match yellow when it comes up. A, because yellow helps me, and B, because it keeps the Valraven from getting any mana. And it can't run away if it doesn't use its spell. And it needs mana to use the spell. Okay, random thought. For just half a second, I thought about asking, so, are there any football fans out there? But, like, I figure a decent number of football fans would not be watching me right now. They would instead be watching football. Because I think there's an NFL game going on right now. Eagles, Cowboys, I'm pretty sure. Okay, so I know I haven't gotten to an unlock. All I'm doing is swapping the order of these two. Also, I don't know if I'm really going to have that many battles left in this event. Because I don't feel like paying gems to get more battles. This is one of those ones where it's not really that big a deal. Because practically all it does is just help you level up a particular class, which happens anyway as long as you use that class in other battles. This just kind of speeds up the process a little bit. Yeah, I was hoping I could find a different move besides that, but nope. Ouch.
Mana surge.
About time I had an attack there, jeez. Okay. Next change has been unlocked. And I know I've been going with the support troops, but I don't really want to change the other stuff that badly. I think this time I will be swapping out the Slayer Ghost, though. Number 9 is already in use. Number 9 is Griff Stonefeather. I mean, technically I could have a second one of it on the team. Okay. We will treat it as a 10 and have Cormac the Restless in here. That's potentially pretty good. Yeah, we got all dwarfs here, so that'll give us a lot of brown mana whenever he does his thing. But I should put him last in the team order for synergy's sake. Three battles till unlock. I was about to say that might not matter, but assuming I'm able to defeat this Valraven before it runs away, I should have more battles than that. Okay, now I sense I've made a bit of an error in
Mana surge.
putting Gem Hammer earlier in the order than Cormac, or whatever his name is.
Mana surge.
Because Cormac can do looping things and gaining extra turns. Gem Hammer, not so much. Well, that didn't go the way I hoped it. Oh well. These things happen sometimes. Okay. There's one battle. Switching up the order a little bit. But nothing else.
Mana surge.
Come on. So, it's not going to matter a ton in this case, but this guy Cormac here, since he creates gems of the color that he uses, he can't actually get into a sequence of just using his spell, gaining more mana, using his spell, gaining more mana, and especially if it, you know, if the brown gems are created in just the right spots, you can keep getting extra turns along the way, leaving him to wipe out just multiple troops before the enemy even gets a turn.
Mana surge. Mana surge.
Although it didn't happen that time, I don't think there were a ton of brown gems on the board to begin with there, so that makes it a little less likely that it'll loop around. Picking that column because it had one more blue gem. And the damage from this is increased by blue gems. Jeez. Alright. They got some extra turns a little while ago. I just got some extra turns. I guess we're even. Was that the third battle? I think maybe that was the third battle. Okay. So, what do I want to change out this time? You know what? Let's change out the weapon. Just for kicks. And we arrive at the Doomed Blade, which damages all enemies. Transforms red gems to doom skulls. That actually work kind of well with my chosen team, you know, the one 4 battles till the next unlock. There's not going to be 4 more battles in this event, I'm pretty sure. At least not for me.
Mana surge. Mana surge. Mana surge. Mana surge.
Actually, I'm on my last sigil for this event as it is.
Mana surge.
Sweet. Not only do I get all the damage from the spell, but the red gems were aligned in such a way that it gave me an extra turn. Love it when that works out. Okay, well I did just enough battles to unlock round 4's reward. But yeah, like, I could use gems to get more battles, but I don't really need the Slayer class experience that badly that I'm gonna spend what is essentially the game's premium currency. So, actually, having Cormac show up in that, just realized I have not done my battles for the Journey event today. So, I mean, this is an event that goes throughout the whole week, so these sigils would just add on, you know, to tomorrow's if I don't fight these battles today, but this, in the grand scheme of the week, is a bit more important than doing the Underspire, because this is a guild event. For what? I do not really plan on changing the team in this case. Oh. Okay, I didn't realize that's what you were saying. Okay, next battle. I'll take that into consideration. Nope. Okay, now green to skulls will give me an extra turn. So I'll do that. Okay. Although... Alright, so now I'll do the lower battle since you got a 4 there. Also, for these ones, I would not consider left-right alignment a factor in the choice. It really only ever has 2 or 3, and the arrangement is usually more so vertical than horizontal.
Mana surge. Mana surge. Mana surge. Mana surge.
Okay. We do not currently get an extra turn out of either green or blue becoming skulls. See, now, she could be a bit of a problem because 25% insta-kill chance. Then again, that one could also be a problem. But that's a 10%. However, it's a 10% chance to devour, which is not only an insta-kill, but it's also... it gains the attack, life, and armor of the troop that it devours. So that's definitely my next target. Still no extra turn alignment with the skulls here. Sure, now I get it. Okay. Oh yeah, additionally, there's a number of miles associated with each battle, but that's boosted by the ascension level of the specific troop for the event. And on top of that, I guess it also gets altered depending on how many turns or something like that it takes you to clear the battle.
Mana surge.
No, I'm not doing that move because that'll give the enemy an attack. No, thank you. Extra turn up here. Extra turn there. And you know what? Face stick. Because that's literally what the weapon is called. Okay. You know, I just realized I have not even thought to look at my phone for a while. Not that I'm expecting anything really important. Just sometimes I wonder. So let me make sure. Nah. Oh. I did get a little bit of a reminder about something that I'll want to do after the live stream. Alrighty. Another one. Goblins. Which can be annoying if only because they inherently get an extra turn anytime they use one of their spells. But if things line up in such a way that they never really get a turn to begin with, then that's not an issue. Man. Yeah, okay. I think the enemy might have gotten 2 turns in total there. Aha, see, now we have 3 possibilities. 5. Okay, well, that lands us on the middle one. Which is what I normally would have chosen anyway. Okay, maybe I'm getting a little more tired than I thought with all this yawning. Jeez. Okay. No extra turns from skull creation. But I can still match the skulls that are there. And another win. Alrighty. 5. So that'll be the top battle in this case. Okay.
Mana surge. Mana surge.
Yeah. Definitely thinking I'll wrap this up around 8 o'clock, if not earlier. I still gotta, like, get a shower and get myself ready for bed and stuff afterwards.
Mana surge.
Extra turn with blue.
Mana surge.
Not with green, though. So I'll do this.
Mana surge.
It extra turn up there. Thank you, game, for pointing that out.
Mana surge.
I may not necessarily trust all the moves that this game's AI would make, but I do trust its ability to point out moves that would give me extra turns. Too bad it seems less capable of making those moves when put on auto battle. Of course, that mode's not even available in every type of event. Now, the only slight bummer about the previous battle choice is that I would have gained some armor with the lower battle. But, not really a big issue. I'm doing just fine.
Mana surge.
Although, really, it's later on that it would maybe be a problem.
Mana surge.
Because, of course, the battles get harder and harder as you move along. And nope, okay.
Mana surge. Mana surge.
May not be the best weapon for it, but the face stick is kind of handy for the gem explosions. Okay. We are down to one sigil. Granted, we were before and then fought a Valraven. Number 2. We do the lower battle, which I guess is against elves. The picture within the circle, or the image, whatever, icon, I guess, for each battle is supposed to represent a different troop type. So, like, I guess the bow represents elves.
Mana surge. Mana surge. Mana surge.
Yeah, I think the real reason I keep yawning so much is just because my brain is in, like, relaxed mode. Like, I'm not super focused on anything in particular, and nothing feels especially urgent in the moment. And so I guess because of that, subconsciously, it's like, alright, you got nothing you really need to worry about. Take it easy. Alright, out of battles for the journey event. At the top of my guild's leaderboard, not that that's big a deal. Not that that's a big deal. Because it's a group effort for that kind of thing. Okay. Now, for the remainder of the stream, I suppose we shall go to the Underspire. I have done only the one battle and then gone to this shop to get the lantern. So for now, I must proceed to this battle. Now, is there anything about this particular experience that we would like to alter from the norm? Yes, there are a lot of torches, because that just compiles across the days. Same as normal Underspire randomizer, plus the random team. Yeah, so we're randomizing the team. The number of options is going to be higher this time because it's all troops from this kingdom, not just dwarf troops. A trick, you say? What is this trick of which you speak? Alright, so, we got 4... You know what? 4 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8. So that's 34 in total. So with there being 34 in total, I guess we could just cycle back around. Let me make sure my initial count is correct. 8, 12, 18, 20. No, sorry. 6, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, yeah. 34, okay. So, 34, 38, 39, 40, 41. So, number 42 gets us to the Doom of Stone here. Put that there for now. 40. Let me just grab number 43 here while I'm nearby. Okay, I thought that was a thing that did extra with Dooms, but and then 47 would give us this troop. Check settings. Thought you had a lot more than 34. It's just for this kingdom. It's still limited. It's still limited. It's just not as limited as the class event that we were doing earlier. The kingdom restriction is there just because that's like the highlighted kingdom for the week. It's not one that I selected. It's there locked in. We randomizing the weapon as well? Yeah, okay. I got those selected already. Weapon in the banner. Okay. Would you like to know how many options there are for the weapon? 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, if you rolled a 1, then that doesn't matter. Okay. 37 life to an ally boosted by brown gems. Okay. I guess I'll arrange them like that. Banner. So it says there's a total of 85 banners. I'm like, really? Yeah, okay, seems pretty likely. So, number 25. Now I gotta go back to the start. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. The volcanic banner. Okay. The class will stay the same. We could change it in theory, but that's the one that goes with the kingdom in question. Okay. Since there is no path option here, we'll just go ahead and start the battle.
Mana surge. Mana surge. Mana surge. Mana surge.
Four battles will unlock an edit. Okay.
Mana surge. Mana surge.
Okay, so what do the Dooms do again? 46 damage to an enemy, boosted by death marks enemies. Death mark all enemies, and create 8 brown gems. Meh. Okay. There's win number 1. Now, we have path options. Four. Okay, that puts us to the second option, which would be this way. Going by the normal, you know, top to bottom, left to right. Essentially, reading order. Or at least, you know, English language reading order.
Mana surge. Mana surge. Mana surge.
I don't know why for a second I thought I had yellow mana for one of my troops. I don't. That was a previous event.
Mana surge. Mana surge. Mana surge.
Curse and freeze an enemy, then deal 51 damage. Okay. Okay. Still 2 options. Number 2. Okay. Looks like we're about to have 3 options after this. Sure, I'll match blue. Don't use purple, but if I match this purple, then it'll fall down like that, and then I get some blue. Don't think I'm getting any helpful colors this turn. Unless it cascades like that.
Mana surge. Mana surge.
Okay. 3 options now. That's not what I meant to pick. I wanted this. That's what I wanted to look at. Jeez. 6 would give us our 3rd option over here.
Mana surge.
In most situations, I would have
Mana surge.
gone for the match that would give me 2 types of mana. But neither of those were a type that I needed.
Mana surge. Mana surge. Mana surge.
Also, you cannot tell me that I can't be the only one who thinks that this fire juggler was meant to be kind of modeled after like Harley Quinn or some character like that.
Mana surge.
Or maybe it wasn't. Just... I guess especially the color combination in the clothing, along with the white / pale skin, is what had me thinking that. Okay, so we got 6, which now actually brings us down here. And we have an edit enabled. I think... What do I want to change first? I don't think I've even been using this guy. But I really don't like the weapon either. So you know what? Let's change the weapon. Oh, I totally could have leveled that one up, though, at least. You know what? Let me upgrade the weapon before I ditch it. $93. I don't think there are that many weapon options. Let's see here. Times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just 5. Okay, so cycle around all that 4 times. Puts us at 80. 84, 88, 92, 93 gives us the glowing core. Okay. Gem explosions. I like that. And 2 colors to help us get there. Doubly like that. I was not expecting you to roll out of 100, no. But I guess you did that for the troops before. Okay. 6 battles till the next unlock, eh? We might go through that. I guess there's a decent chance of that before 8 o'clock. Here we go. Well, okay, there weren't that many brown gems on the board, I guess. Curse and freeze. We'll get rid of the one that summons other goblins first. Okay. Not really any good moves for me here.
Mana surge.
Uh-huh. Well, we have found the gate. And we can do the battle just before it. However, we cannot currently unlock it. Gotta find the keystone first. But I guess we're doing this battle. Okay.
Mana surge.
Should have realized that was gonna happen like that to give them an extra turn.
Mana surge.
I am not the best at judging how the cascades will fall in games like this.
Mana surge.
Okay, so now we only have two options. I don't think I can actually go there yet. No. Okay. So, which one? Which battle? Are we doing 6? Okay. That brings us over here. We're covering pretty much every single branch of the One Direction from the initial branch, it seems.
Mana surge.
I could have matched those skulls. What am I doing? Not paying attention, clearly.
Mana surge.
I know it'll give them an attack,
Mana
but whatever. I get mana that I want. Okay. There's that battle done. Alright, well now either of our two options will expand things. Three. Okay. Man. Definitely take that match.
Mana surge. Mana surge. Mana surge. Mana surge.
Okay. For a second I thought I didn't have any moves that would give me mana that I need.
Mana surge. Mana surge.
Oh, I could have used this guy's spell a little bit earlier. Oh well, no problem.
Mana surge.
I win. Okay. And ads are just about to start on Twitch. That's, I think gives me another chance to get up and move around a little bit. And then when we return, this will be the battle that we do. Any second now. Ads are going to start. Okay, well, whatever. I'll start getting up and moving around a little bit right now anyway. Okay. Seriously. I do also realize that I was up on my feet at work most of the day already, but still doesn't hurt to get up from a sitting position a little bit here and there. I think it's cooled down a little bit to the point where I could turn off this fan that I have going here. It has not generally been warm enough in my area lately to merit full-on air conditioning. So I just set up a fan in here instead. And that's been working all right. Now it suddenly seems a lot quieter in here, though. And my voice kind of sounds a little echoey to me. But oh well. Okay. And we resume the Underspire. You know what? No, I'd rather take this move first.
Mana surge. Mana surge. Mana surge. Mana surge.
Yeah, I'm better off just matching the green, because if I match the green by matching the purple, then the red will
Mana surge.
give the enemies an extra turn. Although it seems like I might be stuck with doing something like that, or just wasting a turn on not getting any mana for myself. Which was utterly pointless in hindsight, because the
Mana surge.
one gem that was created wound up spawning in the perfect spot for them to get an extra turn out of it.
Mana surge. Mana surge.
I love it when making the right move gets just completely turned on its head. Okay. So now we've got 4 options. And we've completed 4 battles since the last edit. Number 4. Okay. That brings us over here. And we'll create another split, then leaving us with 5 possibilities after this.
Mana surge. Mana surge. Mana surge.
Yeah. That seems like it was a pretty decent move.
Mana surge. Mana surge. Mana surge.
Wait, this is the 6th? How is this one the 6th? Because you've only given me 5 number. Oh, because we had the battle selected already when the edit happened before. Duh. Okay. I stand corrected. So I guess we gotta pick a spot first before I can edit, though. Yeah, I guess then it is 8 o'clock, so I should probably wrap this up. Which means I don't then have to spend the time editing the team or anything like that. Okay. I find that acceptable. Okay. Well, that's gonna do it for tonight's stream then, I guess. Hope you enjoyed hanging around, whether it was for a Bible study or Gems of War. And just because I'm working tomorrow, that doesn't change the fact that I am also streaming again tomorrow afternoon. And the plan for tomorrow afternoon is Kingdom Hearts 3. I guess roughly 2 hours of which will be intentional progress. And then for the final hour, I might actually just do some side questing stuff in it. Because I don't really have any other games that I have any side questing kind of stuff in mind. Now, okay, real quick, confession time. The side questing part of today's stream debatably should have been Slay the Spire, but after how things went down with the last recording session for that, and the fact that I didn't beat the boss, I was, in an effort to not drag that series on, I recorded... I got myself back to the Act 3 boss after another standard run, and then just recorded that, not live, and edited that onto the previous recording. But yeah, in any case, very tangential thought. But yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3 is the main focus for tomorrow. Possibly the entire focus. Okay. Jeez, lots of people online right now. Ooh. I'm like... I feel like we did fairly recently raid Pastor Dustin, but at the same time, he's playing Hollow Knight Silk Song, which I'm sure is something quite a few people are interested in. So, you know what? We'll raid him anyway. At least on the Twitch side of things. Nah what? Only 2 people here for... Well, still. I feel like raiding him anyway. So, that's going to do it for me. I hope you're all doing well. Hopefully I'll see you soon. If not for another live stream, then feel free to check out my edited YouTube videos and such. But whatever ends up happening, until the next time, stay cool, everybody.